What's up? It's Matt. We're back with another expert restaurant roundup. I'm on the streets in Charlotte in the America's Best Restaurants Mercedes Sprinter van, but this man is up north. We're going to talk to him in a second. We'll be back in 1 second. Mr. Rapoport, how are you?
Doing good, Matt. Thanks.
So tell us about yourself and about the restaurant group that you founded and that you run currently.
So my company's called Rapoport's Restaurant Group. I've been in business by myself since 1999, but opened my first restaurant with partners in 1980.
Okay. And how many restaurants does the restaurant group have now?
Currently has 4. We had 14 at one point, and I'm opening up another restaurant this October.
Okay. I know I've seen the ones you have in southern Florida. Are they all on the southern side of Florida down there?
Yeah, they're all down in Palm Beach County.
Yep. So what caught my attention that I wanted to talk to you about was when I look at somebody like yourself with what you've built, with the culture you've developed. I've heard a lot about your restaurants. I've got a friend that lives down in Boca Raton and is all up and down that area all the time. Lauderdale, Boca, Miami, Palm City, Palm Beach, and has talked about the restaurant and the type of service and the atmosphere. The one thing I noticed the past 5 years of my business was the minute I put systems and processes in place, it allowed me to get out of the way and my team to do stuff. And I'm guessing in your business, systems and processes play a key part because it allows you to create and identify how to grow the brand and the employees to run everything. Is that right?
Absolutely. I started my restaurant career working for a chain that had just gone public. And it was founded by 3 guys who graduated from the Cornell Hotel and Hospitality School. So they took everything they learned at school and applied it to their company. And as it grew, they brought in more consultants and people to help them develop systems. And I took those tools from them and applied them when I opened up my own restaurants.
And as you mentioned, you're opening another. Is that the catalyst? Because I see restaurants a lot of times will open up, they'll have one, they'll catch fire, they'll be in a trendy area, have a lot of success, and then they'll open 2, 3, 4, and they crash really quick. And a lot of it I see goes back to the fact that they opened them with maybe just their heart and hard work versus systems and literally SOPs for every employee on what you do, why you do it, and how you do it.
Absolutely. Opening up one restaurant is difficult enough. But when you expand to 2, it's really twice as hard because you don't have the team for the second restaurant. You have to split your team in half and your time in half. And that's where a lot of guys seem to fail.
So talking about something a little different, switching gears, one thing that I've talked to a lot of my friends about, I know Florida's a little different. You guys have been open longer than a lot of the other country. I should live in Florida, by the way. My wife keeps telling me that. There was a stoppage though. And one thing I was curious about and how people like yourself handle this is you've got a culture of people running a restaurant that, they're working, they're doing their job. And then all of a sudden something like the pandemic comes and you've got, even here in Florida, you got a 1, 2, 3 month where things are a lot different and people are stressed. They're doing more jobs than they used to. People are laid off. How did you retain the positive momentum and the culture you had before the pandemic to when you got back to being open and going full steam ahead?
So when we had to shut down in the middle of March, that was the peak of our tourist season.
Yeah.
It was like the busiest 2-3 weeks of the year was right then. And at the time we had 484 employees. And when we shut down, I had to lay off everybody except for my 4 office people. And we applied for the PPP loans and we're waiting to hear. And I knew that when we reopened, the 2 things that our customers would be focused on were safety and value. So I hired a consultant to help us develop a safety protocol that we implemented in all the restaurants. basically consisted of, we put 2 people in each restaurant in lab coats and called them sanitary administrators. And they sanitized everything that a customer and employee touched constantly throughout the days. So my controller says, how could we afford that? And I said, well, consider it a marketing expense.
Yeah.
Because that perception is reality to our customers, and there's nothing more important. And then the next thing we did is we said, we're not going to raise prices, cut portions, cut quality. We're going to keep everything exactly the way it was. We're going to keep happy hours. Any other promotions that we were doing are going to keep in place. Because a lot of restaurants, they opened up with COVID surcharges, and they cut various corners because of the pressure. But I felt that this is really the time to show our customers, the value that we have.
No, I love the comment there about the lab coats, and it's funny. It's almost like we're on the same wavelength, because I remember when it all hit about 3 weeks in. I was talking to one of my clients and friends who has a decent amount of restaurants, and we were talking about ideas. And I said, man, perception's reality. If they see nothing happening, they assume nothing's happening. I said, if I'm you, I'm finding a high school kid, I'm finding a college kid, I'm finding an intern, find somebody that's going to college, like Doug, my director of sales. His kid was in college and is now working for the CDC. Find somebody that's in that world. Have them walk around and consistently clean touch points, make things perfect. I said, because if you do that, people are going to see it and go, wow, this is a place that I'm comfortable being in.
Absolutely, and it worked.
Yeah.
I mean, our business picked right back up where we left off.
So what about getting the employees back? What was there a challenge on your end? Because, I mean, you lay off that many people for that time, they've got to find something, or did they all hang out, and were you able to rebuild from your old staff?
So what we did is we were able to get the PPP loan while we were closed. And we told all the employees, if they come back to work, we will pay them for all the time they were out. So nice. We lost some people because the college kids moved back home, and some people decided to get out of the industry. But at the same time, our sales, were good, but at that time it was May, so we were out of season, so we didn't need quite as many people. So it all kind of worked itself out.
Now, last question. What about change of service? Did you guys change anything on your product offerings, on to-go, on anything different, or did you just kind of hold true to what you knew and what you did forever and go back to that?
So because it was the off-season and there was no inside dining, we made certain modifications. We removed a few menu items to help in our prep cook labor. We stopped serving between 2:30 and 4:30 to kind of break up the shifts a little bit more. Okay. But other than that, we kept everything the same.
Okay. And last question, this goes about, you said you're opening a new store. There's a lot of opportunity out there with real estate, with places that have closed. And there's ways to do it right. What are a couple key things you would give to somebody, let's say, because most of my audience are restaurateurs, operators, owners, that you would tell them, hey, if you're gonna go and get that second or third store, A, B, and C, what are a couple things top of mind that you think they got to make sure they have in place before they do that?
Well, your second store has to be a winner, otherwise there'll never be a third store. Okay. So you can't have any doubts in your mind about that second location. And if you can open a store now, it's going to cost you more money than you expected. Figure 30% more, and it's going to take 3 or 4 months longer to get open because of permit delays and supply delays and whatnot.
Yeah, that's been a part that I think a lot of people forget about. And we're in the middle. We just bought a 9,000 square foot office for our company, a headquarters, back in April. And I had these visions of what was going to happen. And I had to kind of scale them down because I knew it was going to be over budget, and it was. And I knew it was going to take 2 months longer. And like right now, we're waiting on the simplest thing. We're waiting on code base to come in to finish off a couple rooms, something really simple, but they can't get. So there's definitely some supply chain issues.
Yeah, I know a sign that I bought 5 years ago now cost for $9,000 now cost me $12,000.
Wow. Well, cool. Well, I appreciate your feedback. I look forward. I'm going to be in Miami in a couple weeks. I look forward. I'm going to scoot up the coast and check out one of the restaurants. I got a friend that said he wanted to go by. So I hope you enjoy your vacation up northeast, and appreciate your time today.
Thanks, Matt. Have a great trip. Hope to see you.
Thank you,
Take
sir.
care.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.